And comments will be limited to 3 minutes. We have 7 comment cards. The first one is Lee Genvier.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm sorry to say that we're having an election in our community, Alterra. The reason we're having this is because we're required by our HOA CC&Rs to hold one annually, and it's that time of year. We have to hold this because we have to control the funds that we bring in to do the service work in our neighborhood that we're required to as a common interest development community. Unfortunately, as part of the election, there's people who win and there's people that are losing. And one of the people that is lost last year, her re-election attempt, seems to be creating a bit of a problem for us and the city by calling up code enforcement and requesting that our election signs fall under, looks like Chino Hills Municipal Code 1638043, which is temporary single exhibition event signs, such as a yard sale or block party. Our election signs would fall under Municipal Code 1638046 because we're only putting them up during the period of time that the election is being held, when the ballots went out on August 30th, and the election will be counted at the community center on October 3rd. I brought a sample sign that 120 of our neighbors have up. There's nothing rude on there, nothing objective, but it's for the people who are running that we're supporting. And it's sad that this person, or a couple people, have gone to the point where they've made all this ruckus for our code enforcement department. I'll apologize that this has happened, but we appreciate your listening to our needs and getting back to us on this in a very quick manner. But I'm saddened to see that, these letters had to go out. Just, for proof, here's our ballot. We're holding a legitimate election, and October 3rd, it'll all be over. We'll have a new board on there, and we'll take it down our signs at that point in time. So thank you very much, and have a blessed week.
Thank you, Lee.
Good evening, Honorable Vice Mayor and Council members. My name is Daniel Vela, and I reside at 5038 Agate Road here in Chino Hills. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today regarding an issue that impacted many of my neighbors in the Alterra community. Specifically, this concerns the 110 code enforcement letters sent to Alterra members, including myself, and there's a copy of that letter. I'd like to take a moment to reiterate some key discussions that I had yesterday with Rod Hill, the Assistant City Manager. First, no fines will be imposed on the homeowners who receive these letters for displaying the campaign signs that we presented here in the meeting. Second, the Alterra HOA Board of Directors election is scheduled for October the 3rd, 2024. This can be confirmed with Scott Sears from Action Property Manager. Finally, City Council members Brian Joss, Cynthia Moran, the City Attorney and Code Enforcement Supervisor Brandy Castro are all aware of this matter and are currently re-reviewing it. Beyond these updates, I want to express the concerns raised by many campaign supporters when speaking with Alterra homeowners. The most common fear shared was a fear of retribution or harassment for simply displaying campaign signs. It is deeply troubling that these concerns seem to have been validated through the actions of the City's Manager's Office Code Enforcement Division. Yesterday, I spent several hours reaching out to city officials and personally meeting with many of the affected homeowners. Their anxiety was palpable, and I did my best to reassure them that based on my discussion with Mr. Hill, no fines or repercussions would be imposed by code enforcement. While I understand that the emotions can run high during an HOA election, intimidation and harassment have no place in this process. It is crucial that appropriate actions are taken to address these concerns transparently and fairly. Those who may have used the city resources to intimidate Alterra homeowners must be informed that such behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated by the city of Chino Hills. Finally, I respectfully request that an apology letter be sent to the affected homeowners, clearly stating that no fines, investigation, or repercussions will be imposed for displaying campaign signs. These code enforcement cases that resulted to the issuance of letters in alleged violation must be closed. Therefore, the letter of apology or clarification will confirm the action taken by the Code Enforcement Division to close these cases. Furthermore, I ask that these letters be issued in English, Spanish, and Mandarin, as many homeowners may be more comfortable reading in those languages. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate your attention to this matter, important matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next is Suzette Dang.
States.
Vice Mayor Bennett, I'll just take a quick second to comment that we had a couple residents speak on a code enforcement matter. That is under review. We don't typically comment on the specifics, but the city attorney's office, city manager's office are reviewing the circumstances around that case. So I just wanted to point that out.
All right. And in that same regard, you and I spoke earlier this evening about this very issue and the problems being issued. As we know, we can't typically enforce HOA rules and CC&Rs. My thinking is, for your consideration and your discussions, is that if signs are being posted within a CCA or an HOA and not on the outside, then should it really matter? Should we get involved from a code enforcement because we don't enforce HOA rules? So just a thought to be considered as we investigate that HOA, because we've got two HOA presidents up here, or past presidents, and they were you also? Yeah. So yeah, we've all been involved with this kind of stuff. So just for your consideration. All right. And if that's all you have, council reports. Chino Valley Unified.
For a second, I want to go back to.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So in other words, when somebody complains, it's actually, we don't initiate the complaint, right? We get a phone call, and then we have to respond code enforcement? Is that correct?
That's correct. We have a reactive program where if a report of a violation is sent to code enforcement then investigates. If they find a code violation, they start with information. They inform the public of the code, and then punitive actions or additional action from code enforcement comes later on, but we did not initiate this investigation. Our program is reactive. With the rare exception of a health and safety issue, code enforcement does not proactively go out looking for violations.
And then just a follow-up question on HOAs. Gated community, that's behind gates at their property, correct? If it's a public street, we have to handle a little bit different. Is that correct?
We need to review this, rather than, because it's not on the agenda this evening, so I prefer that we not have a conversation until we get a chance to review it.
Okay.
Okay, we can talk about this after we review it.
I'd like to know the difference of a public street or gated community.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay, council reports.
Ben, Mark, and our team is going to discuss the item that was brought up by the Alterra HOA. But can we review, like, overall the entire code or ordinance, whatever it is, to, I guess, maybe streamline things or figure these things out? Not on their specific item, but just in terms of just policy. I'm a big fan of free speech, so whatever we can do to get government off people and make it a little bit easier for people to express themselves, I'm a fan of. So if we can reevaluate that. And that's all I've got, Mr. Vice Mayor.
All right. Well, thank you very much. First,